Cheers, y'all. What is going on? Welcome back to your Lake Fork Guide, and welcome back to Lake Fork Bass Fishing Top Baits Live, coming to you from the Your Lake Fork Guide Big Bass Dojo. Hey, it's summertime and the schools have finally got here. The offshore schools have finally arrived, and it's finally time to get out there and use your electronics. Really key on some groups of fish, catch more than one at a time. That's what's going on right now. Let's talk about it tonight. Top Baits Live, Lake Fork Bass Fishing. Cheers, y'all. It's Thursday night. Let's get it. Oh, man. We on that tea life tonight. It's brown water, but it's like a little less potent brown water. We having to live that tea life tonight. It's been freaking hot. Like, holy cow, did it get hot quick. Like, crazy quick. There's been almost no wind all week. It feels like it just, oh, golly, has it been miserable on the water. That being said, that's done a lot to push fish offshore. It's been kind of a weird week on these days with no wind that we've had lately. It's like in the morning time, the offshore fish will group up, but then as the day proceeds, they just kind of rise and suspend. I've even seen some schooling activity a little bit by green fish, not just white ones, but I've seen some green fish schooling a little bit here and there this week on multiple different lakes. So it's kind of, everything's happening the same on all these lakes in East Texas right now. They're all under the same weather conditions. And boy, have the water temps climbed more than I even realized was possible. I fished last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know if I fished Wednesday or not, but I was at the Classic Thursday through Sunday. When I left Lake Fork, the water temps were in the 70s. I mean, backs of creeks, main lake, it didn't matter. It's like 75 to 78 degree water pretty much across Lake Fork when I left Lake Fork. When I got back to Lake Fork and started fishing there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like the water temps in some areas were over 90 in a week. Like almost a 20 degree swing, like a 17, 18 degree swing in a week. That's as fast as I've ever seen it. Like, that's insane. So I think a little bit what's happening is, man, there is some offshore bite happening for sure, and there is, at times you get into good groups, but it's really easy to kind of miss the groups and not get your timing right. It's just, we're still settling into it. It's happening. I don't think all the fish have had time to really transition to it yet. It's happened so fast. I think there's definitely some really good schools of fish starting to build up and get going right. But you got to know where, and you got to get your timing right. It's easy to have a tough day if you miss on some of those schools, because there are schools out there, but they're not everywhere, and they're not out there all day. I think they will be. It'll get better and better and better as the days go on, as more and more fish transition out there. But this warm-up, this water temperature warm-up has happened so rapidly, there's just no way that all those fish have had time to transition into those summertime patterns, which they should be in by now. The good news is we've now caught up on water temps. Like, not only have we caught up, but we are ahead of the normal program for water temperatures now. So all the cold weather, all the delayed cool weather that we had throughout even the entire month of May, we've fast forwarded all of that now, and we are back into kind of somewhat normalcy water temps and patterns for this time of year. It's pretty crazy considering it's about to be July. We're almost halfway through the year, and for the first time we are now into normal patterns for the time of year we're in, and we're just getting into those. So it's been an odd year weather-wise. I don't think anybody that fishes for a living would tell you any different. We've had a lot of flooding rains, which Lake Fork doesn't really flood, so it's not a big deal in Lake Fork. But on other lakes it is, like Lake of the Pines has been hurt by some of the floods. Palestine, I'm sure, has as well. They fluctuate a little more than Lake Fork does. But it's been an odd year, no doubt. Bait-wise, what can we do? Well, we can still catch fish shallow. We can still definitely catch fish shallow around vegetation, which we do have in the lake right now, thank goodness. It's a good thing. They've kind of transitioned over to a chatterbait for me more than a swim. I was catching them on that hollow belly swim bait and a ribbit frog. Transitioned more into a chatterbait and a weightless plastic deal. So chatterbait and throwing this flush 5.2 around weightless and throwing a chatterbait with a paddle tail trailer. I've been throwing it both in the kind of the chartreuse white colors, Be Height Delight, and the shad colors as well. But you can just kind of get on the outside edge. If you can find that vegetation, get on the outside edge. If you need help finding that vegetation, y'all know what to do. Go get the Fish Life app, Lake Fork Premium Package, subscribe to Lake Fork, and you can definitely find some of those grass areas. They're definitely marked on there. Man, I forgot to do all the normal stuff that we do. I'm tired. My mind is melted this week. It's like the first real week of real hot weather that I've been out, and I'm just mentally, kind of drained a little bit. Hey man, we appreciate you guys watching this as always. Let me go ahead and try it now. If you enjoy these live streams and these top baits and these Q&As and everything that we do, be sure you hit the thumbs up. I will definitely appreciate that. It'll definitely help me. Drop us a comment so we know who we're talking to tonight. And also, if you don't mind, share this thing. Get this out there so as many people as possible can enjoy these conversations, and we can all love our fellow man and help each other catch more and bigger fish, because y'all know that's what we're about. And I'm sorry if the energy's a little low and I'm stumbling over my words tonight. It's been extremely warm this week. Extremely warm. Anyways, grass fishing, chatterbait's been the best bait for me this week. Weightless plastics, the weightless fluke style bait, the Flush 5.2 is what I'm using from 6 Sense Fishing. Those are kind of my two tools up shallow right now. The frog bite is definitely, I'm sure you can still get them to bite a frog, but they're not. I'll tell you the deal is, you can still throw the frog around, but you got to listen to the fish. The fish will tell you when to throw the frog, and that's kind of, you can try it early in the morning. I've been having better luck on the chatterbait and the fluke. But if the fish are blowing up on the surface, like if they're eating bait on the surface, go ahead and throw that frog around. They'll let you know when it's time to fish on top of the water by the activity levels around you. It's been a really strange week with the lack of wind. It's about as calm of a week as I can ever remember. That's really changed some of the ways that we fished for sure. It's made it, they don't bite as good when the wind doesn't blow. They just don't. So that's made it a challenge as well. And that's something as we transition to talking about offshore baits, when you're fishing those offshore spots out in the middle of the lake on those non-windy days or less windy days, finding the areas where the wind is blowing a little bit more can be a key component that can help you catch more fish. So try to pay attention to that as you're riding around graphing offshore areas. Try to look in the areas. Really try to find schools in the areas that have a little wind. Those fish are going to be more prone to bite, a little easier to catch. As far as offshore baits go, man, the Carolina rig's still our best bait right now, I think. There's several baits starting to come into play offshore, but the Carolina rig for me has still been getting more bites than anything. And I'm throwing the Impact Shad and that Watermelon Red Magic Color. That's probably been my most consistent offshore bait. I'm also catching some fish in some mid-depths. In mid-depth water, by mid-depth I mean, anywhere from 6 to 8, 10, 12 foot of water on a finesse shaky head, on a 1/4 ounce shaky head. Looks a lot like that right there. Been throwing a green pumpkin divine shaky head worm from 6 Sense Fishing, 6 Sense 1/4 ounce shaky head. And then the Carolina rig and that shaky head in the mid depths have been good. And then way offshore, like in the deeper water, 20, 25 plus, which some schools are really deep right now. Of course, Carolina rig's still playing. 3/4 ounce jig has come into play some for us. Not much yet, but it's coming into play a little bit. Maybe we just haven't thrown it enough because it's time. But this little baby right here has been a key player. This has picked up bonus fish for us. This is a 6 Sense Divine swim bait on a 6 Sense Divine underspin head. I'm using a 1/2 ounce underspin head. It's got a good big blade on it. And I'm using that Divine swim bait in the electric shiner color. It's been a really good bait. A lot of these fish are suspending offshore right now, especially on these calm days. They're suspending off the bottom. And this bait right here has caught some fish, some bonus fish. We get in there, maybe we catch one on the Carolina rig, maybe we catch one on shaky head, maybe we catch one on jig. And then you throw this bait in there and it's like it fires them back up and gets you an extra bite or two sometimes. So a lot of things going on offshore technique wise. The ridge worm too. We've been throwing the ridge worm in brush piles. So in brush piles, I've been taking a jig, 3/4 ounce jig, hybrid jig, and I've been taking a ridge worm on a 1/4 ounce Texas rig, and we've been catching some good fish out of brush piles on those two baits as well. So there's a lot. That's a lot. A lot of options. A lot of options happening. Which is normal considering, how cool it was and how much we're transitioning right now. So you really got to kind of bounce around and keep your eye on your electronics and keep an open mind and kind of fish whatever baits you need to fish for the area that you're fishing. So if you're fishing kind of an open water point where you found some fish on your electronics, well, the Carolina rig is going to do really good. That swim bait's going to do really good. If you're fishing a brush pile, man, a jig and a Texas rig are good to get that bait into that brush pile. So you can kind of see what I'm doing there, hopefully, where I'm just taking whatever it is that's in front of me that I'm marking fishing on my electronics, and I'm fishing the baits that allow me to fish that area the most efficiently. So it's kind of wide open bait-wise right now for me. Man, we're going to talk a little bit about the Classic. Classic was so much fun. We got so much content still to come. We still got a couple more videos coming from the Classic. The meat of the content, really, the weigh-ins, the tournament day, the on-the-water covers, the lake breakdown, all that stuff. We got all that stuff coming on the Classic, and you guys will see that next week. Lee Livesey apparently has been back on Lake Fork for a little while, and I don't know. I haven't talked to Lee. I did just say hi to him in passing at the Classic one day when I saw him there. But that dude is just simply unbelievable. I was just opening up Instagram to make a post or something, and here he was at the top of my feed, and he was doubling up on these giants. So I went to his page, and he had like 3 posts from that day of they're just whacking them. And I don't know if those were the only fish he caught that day. I doubt it with him. But either way, just the fish I saw in those 3 posts, they had like a mega bag, I don't know what it was, but probably at least a high 30-something pound bag. Like, folks, nobody's been catching fish like that. Like, nobody's pushing 35 to 40 pound bags on Fork. No, none of the guys that I know of have lately. There's been guys catching fish and catching good fish, but man, that dude Lee Livesey he is on an entirely different level than all the rest of us that call Lake Fork home. That's why he's won a couple of Elite Series events and is where he is. But I think that goes without saying. But it just, that guy constantly, well, maybe not constantly, but certainly more consistently than anybody else reminds us of the fact that he's just on a different level. So shout out to Lee, man. Some of those fish you guys were catching, your customers were catching, that's unbelievable. And especially considering it's not that the fishing's been bad, but there's been a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of changes throughout the fishery this year. And a lot of guys have had inconsistent results because of that. But for whatever reason, man, if y'all don't follow Lee Livesey on Instagram, and I'm sure all y'all do, he's got like 20,000 followers on Instagram or something. You need to go follow him because, holy crap, when he gets back to the home pond on Fork, he's just like no other. He's unbelievable. So there is some home runs being hit out there if your name's Lee Livesey. I don't know what baits he was throwing, or he looked like he was offshore. I really didn't look too much. It looked like wide open lake in the video that I saw. I really didn't pay attention to where he was or anything, but he's good. And the home run's there to be hit because Mr. Livesey is certainly hitting it in a big, big way. So kudos to Lee, and get y'all's butts to Lake Fork because the fishing that's happening, you never know on Lake Fork. You just never know when you're going to have a day like what Lee's customers had. And yeah, Lee does it more consistently, but it happens to all of us that fish there all the time. Those big bags, those 30 pound, 35 pounds, sometimes every once in a while a 40 pound bag, they happen to all of us that fish there constantly. So, man, there's never a bad time to fish Lake Fork. And anytime you get a chance, get there. Yeah, will she humble you and hurt your feelings? Yep, she sure will. But the thing about Lake Fork is you never know when you're going to roll up on that school, and something like that can happen in 30 minutes. You can pull up on the right school at the right time. 30 minutes later, you've had the best fishing day of your life. That's what keeps us coming to Lake Fork. That's why all you guys book so many guide trips with me and everybody else on Lake Fork, is because of that factor. You don't know what you might see on any given day or on any given moment at Lake Fork. It's an unbelievable place where they live, and when it opens up and shows you what's swimming in there, there ain't no other place like it. So that's kind of what we're doing and how we're doing it. Pretty simple, easy, quick down and dirty breakdown of what's going on tonight. But let's answer some. Oh, free seminar tomorrow. Hey, be at the free seminar tomorrow. I got a guide trip in the morning. One of my guys has been fishing with me for, I think this will be the 3rd year in a row he's fishing with me, James. He's coming out with me tomorrow, and we're going to go catch it. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to get off this thing. When I get off this deal tonight, I'm going to get in the bed, and I've already eaten and taken a shower. I'm ready to go. I'm going to lay my rods out on the deck, get ready for the morning, and I'm going to go to bed, and then we're going to wake up in the morning and be out there early, and we are going to whack them tomorrow. James is a good guy. He's a lot of fun to fish with. He fishes really hard, and I think we're going to have a good day tomorrow. We're going to have some big fish catches. Maybe I'll post some pictures before the seminar for y'all. I don't post pictures very much anymore. Every once in a while I'll throw a day up there. I don't post pictures like I used to, though. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just too tired and old and lazy and grumpy. But tomorrow seminar, 6 p.m. Going to be there. Going to have a great seminar. We got Cody Mays coming back. I'll be there as well. I think Zach's going to be there. I don't know who all. We got several guys coming, and no telling who will get up there and talk. But we'll have an open conversation, open questions, all that stuff. When the seminar is done, we're going to go right next door to Tiffany's. We're going to eat dinner. All you guys are welcome to join us. I wish y'all would. We'll get in there back where the big tables are in the back corner and have a big time and cut up. And who knows where the night will go from there. So y'all come join us, come see us, hang out with us, talk fishing, eat some good food, and have some fellowship. It'll be a good time. From Texarkana, Texas is wondering what a few of my favorite big swim baits are. Line through wise, there's different categories of big swim baits. There's line throughs, there's weedless, and then there's hard multi-jointed baits, and then there's glide baits. Line through wise, my favorite is probably the Smash Tech Felon. It's probably my favorite. I like the line through Felon, and I like the gizzard shad that Smash Tech makes for line throughs. And then weedless big swim baits, my favorite is the Convict, but I also like the big hollow body that Smash Tech makes. The Smash Tech Convict, Smash Tech. By the way, all the swim baits that I fish, pretty much most of them are Smash Tech baits. That guy, he's not a big company. He's on Tackle Warehouse. You can find his stuff on Tackle Warehouse, but he's not a big company, and it's not because his baits aren't good enough. It's because he's a game warden. And he doesn't care to grade. He loves his game warden job, and he really kind of has grown his company to the max that he wants to, and he's happy with it. But he's a guy that, because of that, he doesn't have to worry about bottom line, profit margin, mass production. He's making these baits to the specifications of them to be the way he would want them if he's fishing them, which he does fish them. He's obsessed with swim bait fishing. We featured him on the channel a lot over the years. But he makes great baits. I mean, they're just unbelievable. They're made by a fisherman for the way that he wants a bait to be to fish with, not to make money. So he does a great job on that. And that's why I really love his big baits. But weedless baits, Smash Tech Convict, and the big hollow body I really like. And then in the multi-jointed baits and glide baits, that's when I kind of venture out, and there's some different ones. 6 Cents has a multi-jointed hard bait that's coming out that hasn't been released yet that is really good. Like, it's really good. It kind of, man, I don't know what it reminds me. It's just a multi-jointed hard bait, but it's got a great action to it. Of course, it's got great paint schemes being from 6 Cents. That's been my favorite. I don't throw the multi-jointed hard baits as much. I really like that one, though. And then the glide baits, man, there's the HPH Gliding Gizzard is one I threw way back in the day that I still have. I just don't, for whatever reason, I don't throw it as much anymore with customers or whatever have you. It's like a $150 bait. It's really good. It's probably got the best finish, most realistic finish of any bait I've ever seen as far as looking like a gizzard shad. But the HPH Gliding Gizzard's really good. There's a glide bait coming from 6 Cents as well that's going to be really good that I just got my first look at last week. And then a glide bait that Smash Tech sells, it's really good. It's called the Smash Glide, and it's a little bit smaller glide bait. It's certainly a lot more affordable than a lot of glide baits, but it's a fish catcher, man. It catches the heck out of them. So those are the big swim baits I like, and the ones that I keep in my boat at all times. Yeah, the Smash Tech does have some multi-jointed hard baits that are really good as well. The big jointed gizzards, they're good. What color on the jig and Texas rig? Man, just greens and browns. I mean, I'm not really throwing any one particular color. I'm reaching in there for a green and brown jig and a green pumpkin trailer on the jig. And I'm, on the worms, I'm throwing a lot of the plum apple and blue fleck. We've been throwing blue fleck, which blue fleck is always a good color on Lake Fork, no matter what time of year, no matter what. But I've been throwing blue fleck and plum apple the most on the Texas rig ridge worms. Any tips for someone going to Fork for the first time this weekend? Heck, this whole video has been tips for someone going to Fork for the first time this weekend. Lake Fork guide loves the Alabama Crimson Tide. I don't know that I can co-sign with all that. Talking about damn Roll Tide. No. I mean, I'm not like an Alabama hater. I'm not against the Crimson Tide until they play the Aggies. And then, no, I don't like them at all. Jimbo gonna come get some of that butt this year. That's all I'm saying. Jimbo's got him a new quarterback going into this year. And I've never actually met him personally, but in a way, he's a friend of the channel. So one of my very best friends is a guy named BJ Anderson, and he lives here in town. And he's very, very close with John King, and I got to fish with Coach John King of Longview, Texas, a couple years ago. And we have some mutual connections on people he grew up around, and some of them are really good friends of mine. And so me and John hit it off, and I really like John. I consider him a friend. And anyway, his son, who I've never met, Haynes King, is looking like he's going to be the starting QB1 for Jimbo and the Aggies this year. So we'll be pulling for the Ags and pulling for Haynes King, and he's one of our East Texas boys from Longview. He's a good hand. He's hard-working kid, good kid, smart kid. So we'll be pulling for old Haynes down there in Aggie land. Sean Bowen, what's up, man? I haven't heard from you in a while. How you been, brother? Hopefully you're doing well. Flutter spoon or big swim bait bite early in the morning, offshore bite. I don't know. There may be some guys catching them on the flutter spoon right now. I haven't really been throwing it a whole lot. It's about time. That's probably something. And listen, we all make mistakes, right? Like we all make mistakes. We all miss things at work sometimes, especially in fishing. I probably missed that a little bit this week. I probably should have been throwing a flutter spoon some this week, honestly. The way those fish were suspending, I don't know why that didn't really pop into my head. I'd gotten some bites even last week and before on the Divine Swim Bait Underspin. And so that's what I went with for the suspended fish. I really didn't even think about the flutter spoon. And I should have. Because it hadn't just all been whacking and stacking and peaches and kings this week. Like we've had our stretches of days and our days where we've had to grind it out this week. I mean, we haven't zeroed any day, but we've had our days where we've had to grind on them to catch them. And certainly our periods of time during the trip where we've gone long stretches without bites. So I should have thought of the flutter spoon. That's actually probably with those fish suspending in the calmer conditions, I should have been picking that up. Anytime you see fish starting to set up off the bottom on offshore structure, a flutter spoon is a good tool. Where's the swim bait bite at? That's what I'm here for, Lawless. That's right. We're the sideshow Billy Lawless. That's right. Who else has got questions? I know some of you guys asked questions earlier and I missed them. If I missed them earlier, sometimes the comments go too fast. So drop them in again if I missed your question earlier. Can you sign up for the tournament Friday afternoon, July 2nd? Yes, you can sign up for the tournament Friday, July 2nd. We're going to have a seminar going on. I think we're actually going to have a concert Friday after the seminar at registration. So we've got if you don't know, we've got our Fish Life, your Lake Fork Guide Fish Life annual tournament coming up. It's called the Forever Grateful Tournament. The proceeds go to 22 Kill. And it's a great event. It's a great event. It's a great organization. It is going to be a daggum party, and I think we might have a little bit of a concert going on after the seminar Friday evening. So I've got to get to work on putting the logistics together for that if we're going to make that happen, because that's 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's sneaking up on us quick, and I'm like, I haven't done enough. I'm too far behind. I've been fishing too much and traveling too much for the Classic and all that good stuff. So I've really got to get my grind on this tournament deal right now. But looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun event. You can register right now at fishlife.net, and the life is spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E. You can register on that. You can also register Friday night. You can also register Saturday morning. Saturday is going to be an open team tournament. $100 entry for your team, $20 for big bass, 70% payback, 30% going to 22 kill, of course. It's all going towards helping. 22 kill does is they help with mental health aspects, mental health assistance for veterans and first responders, and they really focus on preventing suicide. And it's something that is a very, very important topic. It's something that needs to be addressed, and 22 Kill does the best job of helping veterans in the area that they need the most, in my opinion, as a veteran. So, great organization, super proud to be a part of that, to be working with that organization. I'm telling you guys, I'm having a hard time stringing my words together. My mind has been melted from all this heat this week. But we're going to have a big event. It's going to be like I said, it's going to be a party. It's going to be a really, really good time. So make sure y'all get out to that July 2nd, 3rd, and then on July 4th, we're going to have a invitational tournament where you guys can actually buy your partners. Like I'm a guy, Zach Watts is a guy, some other guide buddies of mine. You can buy them as partners and compete in Sunday in a tournament with your partner of your choosing, whoever you choose to bid on. And we'll be picking partners and auctioning off partners for Sunday's tournament at Saturday's weigh-in. So it's just going to be a whole weekend of bass fishing, good times, and all the money that you come out there and spend is going to end up going to a great organization that helps vets and first responders. Whiskey Myers. No, unfortunately, it won't be Whiskey Myers. Whiskey Myers will not be the concert. They're actually going to be on the road. I wish. I wish that Whiskey Myers, and we may do that someday if we can ever catch them not on tour. Cody Cannon of Whiskey Myers was here last year because COVID had their tour shut down. He is a buddy. He's a good friend. He'd be here if he wasn't on the road. He'd be fishing the tournament if he wasn't on the road, because Cody's a big fisherman. Cody's the lead singer of Whiskey Myers, who's my favorite band in the world. So it's really cool to be able to be friends with the dude that's the lead singer of your favorite band, right? But no, that won't be the concert. It's going to be a local talent, but they're really, really good, and it's an up-and-coming type of act. But they're friends of mine as well, and we're going to see if we can get that lined up and make that happen. Spoke to them last night. They say they think they can do it, but I got to confirm everything. Have I tried the underspin with the gold blade? I have in the past, and I don't know. I've got a lot of confidence in the underspins with the silver willow blades, and I didn't catch them on the gold blade when I tried it, but I probably didn't give them a fair shake, to be honest with you. So I'm sure they do work, but I just always have stuck with the silver ones. Haven't been out in a while. Our buzzbait's happening right now. Thanks for the shows. I'm sure you can catch a buzzbait fish early in the morning, like real early right now, but it's getting so hot so fast. It probably doesn't last too terribly long. You know, there's guys that throw buzzbaits a lot that can catch them kind of all the time on the buzzbait a little bit. I'm not one of them. I do throw a buzzbait some, but not a whole bunch, and I haven't personally been throwing them very much lately. Timmy Rhodes has made an appearance in the chat. He says buying Z will be like buying a drunk dirty sock. What? I don't even know that makes sense. Are you drinking like a drunk dirty sock right now, Timmy Rhodes? What's going on? The whale bait. You know, but I got on that hollow body deal, which I always do in the summer. I need to throw that whale around a little bit. That's a great, that 6 cents whale is a great swim bait. I really love that one. Fishing with JC said, hey, what's up? He's late, but he's here. Tim says, yes, he is drunk. I kind of figured you might with that comment, Tim. Timmy's on it. Hey, cheers, y'all. It's Thursday night. Let's get it. The lack of concentration may be directly correlated to the lack of brown water. Yeah, it might. I'm not in my sweet spot. I'm not in my groove. I'm dehydrated, boys. I need to drink more water. It's been some stinking hot. That's the real takeaway from this week is holy crap, did it get hot fast. It like fooled us, man. It was like nice and cool all year. Everything's been good. We ain't worried about sunscreen too much. And all of a sudden it's like, wow. Wow, like wow. Like over 100-degree heat indexes every day. No wind. Feels like you're in a sauna on the water. It's ridiculous. Do you throw the whale on an owner beast or an underspin? You can throw it on either one. It's about a 5-aught hook works really good in it. A 5 or 6-aught hook works really good in it. But you can throw it. It just depends on personal preference. For me, I like throwing those underspins a lot where I fish. When I'm around cover, when that swim bait's coming through grass, through vegetation, through cover, I like throwing the underspin. Now, when I'm fishing completely open water, I take and put a regular swim bait hook on and don't throw the underspin. The water temps have shut up. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier in this chat, but yeah, the water temps went from literally when I left last Wednesday, was my last day in town before the Classic, the water temps were like 75 to 78 on Lake Fork, and now there's some water on Lake Fork that's like 92, 93. Like, we're talking about almost 20-degree swing in a week. That's as fast as I've ever seen it go up. It's wild. It's really, really wild how fast the water temps have shot up. Joe Ritter says, cheers, see y'all out there tomorrow. Chatterbaits and flukes. And then square bills, question marks, question mark. Yeah, chatterbaits and flukes around the grass. The square bill bite for me is faded. It's gone away. The shad spawn's done. Every once in a while, though, if you're driving down the lake early in the morning and you see birds stacked up on a bank, not just resting in the bushes, but actually in the water feeding, you can take a square bill and go catch it. I actually saw that scenario one day this week, but there was already a boat on it, so I didn't go in there. But I saw an area where there was a little bit of a wind ripple going in. There was birds stacked up feeding. Man, I wanted to pull in there. There was already somebody there, so I didn't go in there. But if you see that scenario, yes, go throw the square bill. Super Dave says he just got off the water. It was 92. Yeah, no, I know. It's crazy how fast the water temps have shot up. It's just, I've never seen it jump that much that quick. I mean, usually by the time you get to May, the water temps are in the 80s and it doesn't have that far up. I mean, folks, we're talking about 92, 93, 94-degree water temps. Guys, that is as hot as Lake Fork gets all year, most years. It never even got that hot last year. Like, we never even got into the 90s water temp wise last year, really. So this is wild. I mean, it's really wild. It's really, really wild how hot the water's gotten. Like I said, we went from being behind all year. Hell, now we're ahead of where we normally are water temp wise for this time of year. I mean, not too much, really. This is just the time of year where it starts to get towards the peak. Usually the water temp peaks out sometime in July as far as how high it'll go. I'll tell you what, if we keep these water temps in the 90s and they stay that way for 2 or 3 months, man, by the time we get to late July and into August, we're going to have some really big schools of fish where, the more extreme the weather is, the more it makes the fish do the same thing. Like, more fish are going to have to search for that cooler, more oxygenated water the hotter these water temps get and the longer they stay that way. So it could create a situation where a month down the road, we've got some really good offshore fishing with big, massive schools of fish like we haven't seen in a while, because the last couple of summers, water temps have been a lot more mild. It really haven't gotten into the 90s much, if at all. I don't think last year the main lake temp, I don't think ever got into the 90s last year, if I remember correctly. So having water be that warm already, it could create a really good offshore season for us in July and August. Well, boys, I think I'm going to call it a short one tonight, man. I always want to come in here and help you guys all I can, but I tell you, I'm running on a wing and a prayer right now. I am exhausted and hot and dehydrated, and I'm going to get some good rest tonight, because it's going to be a long day tomorrow. I've got a guide trip, then we got a seminar, then we're going to have dinner with all you guys, whoever wants to come out. Seminar's at 6 p.m. at Lake Fork Marina. Andrew Alphabet says chatterbait over a swim jig right now. Right now, for me, I'm fishing. I'm focusing on the deeper outer edge of the grass in those areas is where I'm getting better results, and I'm throwing on chatterbait. How long you plan on using that blurry phone? I guess till it breaks, and I have to, or I throw it in the lake. Last one, I dropped the last one in the lake, and I got a new one, and this one kept a clean screen for all of about a week before I broke it too. So, you know. What size square bills would you recommend? I've been throwing the 200 series square bills, 200 and 3.8 series. The Crush 200 and the Mini Mag 3.8 are the two that I've been throwing on Lake Fork. And it really just depends on the depth that I'm trying to fish. And that 3.8 gets a little deeper. But we're going to call it early night tonight, get some rest, big day. Come see us at the seminar tomorrow at 6 p.m. Have dinner, hang out afterwards. We'll have a good time. We'll be around for a while tomorrow night. So if you're in the area, come out to Lake Fork Marina, chat us up, man. We'll have a good time. Thank you guys so much for everything. Hope y'all are enjoying some of the classic content. Drop me some comments on that classic content. Let me know what you guys are thinking of that, if y'all are enjoying it. And because maybe, if you guys like the tournament cover stuff, maybe next year we'll travel and go to more of the Elite Series events, including the Classic next year. We'll do some traveling wherever it ends up being. And just got to see, man, if you guys like the content, we'll go do it. I certainly enjoy going to those events and making it. I love being around the people from Bass. They're great people. But yeah, we'll see everybody tomorrow, man. Thanks once again for watching Thursday night Top Baits from Lake Fork. Cheers, y'all. We'll see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.